The Afar region is rich with a variety of attractions to present as a tourism asset for anyone and international visitors who are very interested in tourism. And it is here in the Danakil Depression where we find Ertale. Ertale mountain is situated in Afar in the Danakil Depression. It is the active volcano site, and the place is a triple junction with its continuous tectonic activity. In the local language of Afar, Ertale has been described as a gate to hell or a smoking mountain. As a result, different archaeologists and tourists come from various parts of the world to see and witness what is happening here. This active volcano, as you see, it's so much interesting and it puts you in a very spectacular manner. As you can see, the spark of the light coming out of the mountain is another immense experience for any tourists who love to experience what is happening in Afar in the Danakil Depression. Of course, also as January comes, tourists from different parts of the world prefer this place and they celebrate the Christmas that has been really giving them a very indelible memories. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Explore Ethiopia on EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism, that have been introducing Ethiopian culture, history, tourism, above all, everything about Ethiopia. And do stay tuned as we bring you lots of interesting facts about the smoking mountain or gateway to the hell as it's been described. What's so fact and what's interesting, we shall bring you lots of brief explanations and historical significance. Do stay tuned. I'm your host, Biniam Getane.
The most famous port is the persistent lava lake, which has been active since its discovery in the 1960s. Being only 613 meters high above the sea level, it's one of the 8 other volcanoes in the world that have a lava lake.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Explore Ethiopia on EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism that has been bringing you and introducing Ethiopian tourism destination entirely. And we are now here as I speak. We are in the northern eastern part of Ethiopia in Afar region where several tourist destinations have been explored by people of different kinds, particularly from tourism perspective. And as I speak here, I'm joined here, of course, in the very tectonic area of Lake Ertale, one of the hottest and driest place in the northern eastern part of Afar region in Ethiopia. And several people from different parts of the world come for several reasons in order to carry out researches and also experience what the tourist experience like. So this place, of course, despite the fact that lots of researchers have explained it, they have been giving names exactly to describe what this place is all about. Some call it the Smoking Mountain. That's exactly what the local Afar people call it in their linguistics. Similarly, it's also referred as the gateway to hell. Is that really what it is about? So now I have tourists who have come from a certain European country who will tell us lots of his experience.
Ethiopia is a country with a very rich culture and heritage, and I had the opportunity to visit it before in 2015, but I only saw Addis Ababa, and Bishoftu, and if you see a city, you can see some parts of the country, but you see not the life that is outside the city. And every city in some sense is the same, and every city in the world is the same, because life in a city, everybody has to adjust. So you see not that much of the country. And this time I spend less time in the city and I want to spend more time in the countryside.
What's the main reason that you are here right now?
It's basically this. I want to come and see this volcano. I want to see the Danakil. I want to see some nature and I want to meet some of the local people.
Interesting. So what makes you interested to specifically know this area? Have you had any prior information or experience that draw you to come here?
So the Danakil Depression and Ertale are quite famous if you like nature and natural monuments. Erta is a volcano with a permanent lava lake. It's the oldest permanent lava lake on Earth. I think over 100 years it's been like this, and there are only 8, and most of them are very hard to access. So I like to go to places which are spectacular and which are not so easy to see. So I could have gone to Hawaii to see a lava lake, but it's very far away from where I live. This is very close, and also I get to see some of the local people. And it's very close to Danakil, which comes after Erta. So I will visit both at the same trip.
Interesting. So taking into account your prior experience through reading and the example you come up with, what makes this place quite unique?
It's a bit different from what I expected. Not worse, not better, it's just different. So I was expecting to see maybe nothing, because sometimes you're not lucky and all you can see is a little bit of smoke. So we see a lot more today. We see some eruptions happening, small eruptions. We see a lot of fresh lava. I have seen some pictures where there is a lake, which is bubbling. We haven't seen this, it's beyond the ridge. I think there was a recent eruption, so we can't see it now.
What do really tourists say about this place? Maybe if you have heard from your neighborhood, or how does such a tourism aspect would promote the country?
So I have not spoken to any tourists who have ever been here. I have seen pictures, and the pictures, when I show people pictures, but only or YouTube videos, everybody would like to come. And it's a little bit difficult because not everybody likes to come here. It's not so easy to reach. It's very bumpy. It's a long journey. It's not comfortable. There are no hotels. You have to meet local people. You have to live the lifestyle. So not everybody will make it here. I have only met some of my colleagues who have been here for research. So they have done research at Erta. It's a different experience when you go for research.
When the name is translated from the local Afar language, it means the smoking mountain, and with enormous pool of active magma which is located beneath the ground surrounding Ertale, the volcano shall certainly continue to smoke for an even longer period.
Ethiopia is obviously known having lots of tourist destinations like this in other places. So if the country has to take this to higher steps, the fact due to COVID-19, the Russia-Ukraine war has been some of the problems that globally affected the tourism movement, not only here in Ethiopia, but also some other places. So countries are working, promoting their destination, and Ethiopia is one of the countries in this regard. If tourists have to come to a place like this, what strategies or things has to be considered, starting from the accommodations, roads, and others? What do you really like to recommend?
I think this could be a great tourist destination. A little bit of signposts would be nice so people can travel, but I think they have good tour guides, they have good tour organizations in Samara. I'm here with one guide, he's very nice. So I think once this improves, it will be much easier to come, because there are flights to Samara, there are flights to Mekele. You can go from any of these places and you can see this very easily. So I think this is the main thing holding.
How did you find the weather condition?
I live in Saudi Arabia. This is like home now. So I feel at home. If I was in Germany still, I think it would be very hot, but now it's very pleasant. During the day it's a little bit warm, but same as in Saudi Arabia. It's very nice. Actually, it reminds me of the Dead Sea in Jordan. It's today we passed the big lake, the Salt Lake, and people were salt mining. It reminded me of the Dead Sea. I've seen exactly the same kind of salt mining operations at the Dead Sea. The climate was the same. It was very hot. It's below the sea level. So I think here it's maybe 100 meters below. Dead Sea is maybe a little bit lower. But the climate It's very similar to the Dead Sea. And in fact, at some point, I think you can have a spa resort or some hotel for people at the big lake, and then have an excursion, come here for one day, go back, or do basically day trips. I would recommend it. So far, I mean, this is really something you will not get to see. Maybe you get to see it for a brief period of time if you're lucky in Iceland or so. I think they had just had a volcano erupt. But here, I think you have a permanent place where any time of the year you can get tourists to come, and they are almost guaranteed to see a volcano. I was in Iceland, I think, last year. I did not see any volcano, I did not see any lava. You can see a few hot springs because they're everywhere. So you have to be very lucky. But here you don't have to be lucky, you just come. You go see the volcano. So I think this is something that is very unique. And you have places like Hawaii or so. And they have a huge tourist industry around their volcanoes. And they're exactly like this. I mean, they're like this. And you have one of only 8 in the world. One is in Congo, and the rest is Indonesia and then Hawaii in some small islands. So you have some place that you can really promote, and you can build a tourist industry around this.
What should be the role of media professionals in promoting what the country really has, and what's expected in your opinion?
Hard for me to say, to be honest. So I watched most of my information about this area is either from reading or so I read Wikitravel or Wikipedia, some websites I like to go to. Or I watch YouTube videos, and I can watch YouTube videos. So if you have a YouTube video of this volcano erupting, I mean, that is something I know that a month or so ago, so I saw some very recent footage of some people, they posted this, of some recent eruption, and I said like, okay, I want to see this because this is spectacular, especially if it happened a month or 2 ago. And I'm sure you have this every year a couple of times. You just need to promote it at some channels, like, okay, another eruption of this Erta volcano, look how spectacular it is. And then some people can come and go, okay. Like me, I said, I saw this in October, there was there was a little bit of science talk about it because I'm a scientist. So I heard about how it built up over the year, and then there was an eruption, I think maybe in November?
Oh yeah, it was. Sure.
Yes, and I saw the YouTube videos and I'm like, okay, I want to see this eruption, or I want to see something like that, that comes close. I said, okay, definitely I'm going.
Final opinion you have about this group of crew, so that we can call it a day for tonight?
Okay, I'm really looking forward to having some chats tonight.
Good. Thank you so much for your time and a brief explanation as far as the tectonic volcano of Ertal is concerned. We really appreciate that you have come here in Ethiopia, especially in Afar region. Thank you once again.
And now let's see if we can get an eruption going, right?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying on EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. This has been Explore Ethiopia, a show that has been introducing Ethiopian culture, history, tradition, and above all, tourism. And the entire experience that we are having here in Afar, in the Danakil Depression, is giving us more memorable and remarkable time as we have seen all the very important destinations. However, we still have lots of segments that ultimately introduces the potential of Afar tourists. But this one will conclude our experience in Ertale, the smoking mountain and the best touristy destination entirely in Ethiopia, particularly in the Afar regional states in the northern eastern part of Ethiopia. Thank you so much. Keep locked. I'll see you the other side.